Hello there, I'm Katie in the Nest, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon. I've been away for the weekend, so I'm thinking about you and what you're up to. And like me, I hope that you have had some creative time. I've actually just arrived home, so this is a quick unpack and probably not as organized as I thought I might have been. I'm actually later home than I expected, but that's actually good news when you having such a good time that you actually don't take any notice. So here we go. I had planned to give an update on my Wellington collection, which I'm going to. The news is I only have 2 pieces so far, and inside of me, my dream was to have 3. I still have possibilities. Let's see how the time goes, because this is also the week where I have to release February kin news. So, and I have lots of daytime work. So that's not an excuse. I'm just telling you, and this is a reality. I think it's actually important to say that even though I stitch a lot and I stitch every night, these beautiful things that we all make take time, and there's no point in rushing them. Okay, so before I jump in, as I said, I hope you are well, and I'm grateful, but please stitch along as I just tell a bit of a story about these pieces. So the first update is about my Husswif that I'm now calling a Stitchy satchel. A satchel was, I've referred to it now too many times, but it was an accidental naming of this piece because I said I wanted it to be just something I could snatch and take on the go. So she's been away with me this weekend, and I have to say I am so happy she's not completely done, but I thought I'd start with an update. So the first thing, and I better just check because I was going to film when I was away. How was that for dedication? But I didn't get it done. So my camera's in a different way, so apologies if it's all out. So I have added this piece as a closure. I'm not sure that she's the perfect one, and indeed she may change, but for the point of this, I thought I'd demonstrate. I wanted just a wrap around that didn't take up too much effort, but that did stay. Now remember, when I started this, I said I wanted to be snuggly wuggly in the hands, and she is. So this sort of clasp means that it's easy, in a hurry, boom, 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 and around, and then open. So she is now fully functional, and I'm about to reveal a big secret, but just keep with me for a minute. So we open up, and if you've been watching all along, I've done some renovations. My little pin cushion, the cupcake, has actually moved to the top quarter like that. And the reality of that is now I have the pins and the needles close to each other. Originally, she was down further. I've done more embroidery, and I've been working on adding pieces to the edges. So to finish this off, and she's not completely done, I've got a bit of lace, and I have to thank Mary Walker from Mary Walker Textiles, who sent me a bundle of her offcuts. She makes incredible sustainable clothes, and she didn't want to throw things out, so she sent me a bag. I popped it in the dye the other day, and it's all come out this beautiful pretty pink color, a deeper Chanel here. So remember, this is a squishy squashy set with quilting as the background. So the other thing is, this worked a treat. This is my little needle book flap, and I was in 2 minds about whether I should put a closure on it or not. And in the car just now, or maybe it was yesterday, I thought it could be as simple as just putting a pin in there rather than, you know, sort of adding something in. The practical thing is this is blanket. I can close it with a pin. If I ever need a pin in a hurry, I've got it there. And then we open up, and so far I've got a needle and a pin, but if I'm working, I could be putting my pins into there as well, or there, or on the front. So I'm actually quite thrilled with that very simplistic closure. I've started doing some wandering stitches, so little bits of running stitch that will join this flower to that flower. So lots and lots of embroidery to keep working on, particularly when I'm in transit. This is the bottom. Again, here's a different piece of a scrap. So this really is, you know, continuing our theme of using scrappy bits, and all of Mary's pieces were, you know, they were edgings, like bits left off in the shirts, etc. So I've tucked that round there, and there's a spare pin. That's what I love about these. They don't stick into me, but I've got plenty of bits when I need it. How about I put that there? Okay, going forward, I'm actually quite excited. I was doing that late last night and I haven't oh gosh, maybe I didn't even finish. There's more to go over it. So I'll bring this up close for you to see. So this is where the pin cushion used to be, the cupcake, and I harvested it, and I realized that I still had this piece of blanket left. So really I just excavated the top with the stuffing, put it there in the garden. I think it belongs a lot better there because there was quite a bit of distance between its original position and the needlebook. So in a way I've sort of got two, because I can still use the blanket for pinning, and this is the flower of this raggy bit, and I'm making it just a beautiful decorative thing in itself. So far I have cut it out messily, can you see that? And I've started to work orange on the corner. I still have my bits to hold my snips and scissors in the side there. A bit more embroidery. What have I done on here? This is a beautiful thing that you just keep adding and adding. I don't know if that was there last time. I changed that yellow embroidery by putting pink over it. I've added this little bit of striping here, a little bit of additional stitching, and I'm actually have, I don't know where it is. I've got something else to join to that crochet because that's looking a bit beige at the moment. So it's got green. I said I was influenced by Fleur. I still do think I have those bits, lots of flowers, etc., really touching each other, but she's just developed in with a mind of her own. And here is my deduct moment. So there she is in perspective from top right through, but I accidentally started to fold her up this way on the way home, and look at this. My snipple, what is she? Snatchel can be multifaceted. That could be the outside, and then I could have that like that, a garden. But if I put that bit up like that, she could just stay like that, not open but closed, and I would have access to my needles and to my pin cushion. And here I would have access to my scissors, and it's just versatile. This is still a pocket, so it could be like this. Is get my bits out, open my needles, use my pins, and what I haven't tried is how would I pin her up, but actually that's what's happened. I caught that. As I said, I've done this closure in a rush, but just as easily I could just tie that round there like that. And there she is, in a completely different format, but just as versatile, and with my threads in there. So I'm not sure what you think, but I am thrilled because we've just sort of worked out accidentally a way of having 6 sides, and there, look, and then I can still look at that beautiful star and honor that. So that is her so far. Let's keep her like this because I could use her. And that segues me into the next piece of my collection, which is the pouch. Now, you need to be prepared if you watched my very first introduction to this collection, because it is the same pouch, it has the same blanket, but she's probably unrecognizable. And here she is, not done, and things for me to talk to you about. But I suppose my message to myself, as I realized, and I think I hinted at it last time, as this piece took more direction, it actually led me back to this. So these two feel very much related to each other now, whereas I started with this, with these flowers, which are still there. I had the bird, and we loved the bird. I still have the bird, but I don't think the bird is going to go on this piece. She's going to go somewhere else, and I'm pretty sure about that, and I can tell you why. But basically it is because this is so floral and gardeny and scrappy and, should I say, raggy. I keep hearing this word whimsical, so if we want to use whimsical, she's definitely whimsical. So in keeping with the Wellington collection, this pouch, which will get a zipper in it. I'm really being disturbed by that blue blanket now, so I want to talk to you about the inside of that. But let's go through this. So this is only pinned because I have done something quite radical in a short time. This bit here under there and this bit here are part of my mini makes with scrappy bits that I only started 2 nights ago. And I had that piece, I worked on it in the car going away, and then last night I thought I love that, I need to continue working on it, why not put it on the piece? So I didn't intend that mini make go on here, but there she is already. Now you can see that this is not perfect yet, and indeed this color here is completely wrong. So why don't I get stitching as I rumble on about this. I do love that English word that Catherine uses, K3N. What is it? It starts with W. Whittle. Is that it? Whittle? We don't tend to use that here, but that's what I feel like I'm doing, talking away. My husband and I listened also to a great podcast in the car on creativity and inspiration, and I'm so inspired about that. And he was asking me questions about when I talk to you. And I don't know why I laughed just then. Oh my gosh, everyone. Do you know that I accidentally saw the transcript of one of these and it said that I said hello and then snorted. So there's a new word. AI thinks I snort. Which I probably do, but I was a bit shocked. Anyway, what am I saying? Oh yeah, and so we talked about, you know, my creativity, because again, people ask me like, where has this come from, etc. Anyway, and I said, this talking on YouTube has actually become a very important part of my creative process. It's me talking out loud, and you know, the biggest benefit, of course, is community and knowing that I'm not alone and that many of you are out there stitching along, or you know, watching me in a car to fill in the time, who knows. But that it actually makes me think about what I'm doing, because much of this, it just comes out in a very unplanned and impromptu way. So the process of talking to you and hearing your comments and reading your beautiful descriptions of what you like about my work is actually helping me so much. So thank you for that. And I don't want this to be all about me, but if I go back to podcasts as just another wonderful thing that you can, and audiobooks, but this particular podcast was just so challenging and interesting, that it just provokes more thoughts about creativity. And of course, that's why I just came in, dumped my bags and said to my husband, I'm going down to the nest. So that's the top priority, just getting down here. And I think I'm segueing, and I hope you're seeing that it's not necessarily about the product that I'm making. And I'm getting less fearful of repeating and showing you the same project, because, as I just said, I'm learning through the process, and this pouch is an evolution. And if I'd stuck with how it started, I still would have loved it, but it just didn't sit right with me. So there we are. This is why fabric, let's just, you know, upcycle, recycle, do everything, because adding that flower and then putting this over the top has created a completely new look. And I'll have to look at it in the camera myself. Oh, the camera wants to update. But see, now she belongs more in this garden because of the yellow. Yeah, I know my I'm out of position because my chair just fell over, and it hasn't done that for years. So thank you for your patience. Okay, I've still got this. You might remember I was filling in those flowers the other day. Now this doesn't look like it's got enough definition, but it's a little way over. So what does my heart want to do? I feel like doing a little row of this colour around the edge of this flower. Now, I don't know where I was in the beginning of this story. Oh, using the scrappy bits. Yeah, so the more I make the mini makes, the more I realise what an important part of my love of making these bigger works the mini makes are. So they don't have to be for a particular purpose. I don't know what to call them, so I'm just calling them scrappy, you know, things with scrappy bits. I'll just say thank you, a big shout out to the people of Perth and to the lovely quilting shop Calico and Ivy because unbeknownst to me, until I reaped the reward, the team sent out the newsletter and did an Instagram post yesterday morning about my upcoming workshops, and now we're sold out on day 1 and day 2, and the 3-day workshop has only a few places left. Now, I've got questions about the 3-day, and I thought I'll just say this to everyone. Fleur Woods is a fan of a 3-day, and she talks about the absolute, and I've been blessed to do, I've done a 3-day with Fleur and a 5-day. And at first you think, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep stitching for all of that time? But it evolves into this amazing multi-faceted experience of connection, of collective creativity, I think. And it has quickly become a favourite of mine after my Melbourne experience last year. Hello, girls. And so I've got a few spaces in that left, and that's all for Perth. And it's only in a month. So I'm looking around already about my nest. The bowerbird is starting to collect. And if you don't know me and you wonder why I'm talking about Wellington, we're off to a 5-day workshop program in Wellington. Oh, let's go shopping as well. We fly next Saturday, and it's going to be, again, just an immersive experience with like minds. So truly blessed, truly privileged to be doing that. And as I said right at the beginning, I have plenty of little kits and things that I could tuck in the bag, but challenging myself with a deadline and a purpose has created in this short time, indeed invented my satchel and this pouch. There'll have to be a third bit, but it's not here yet. I mean, if you were me, what else do I need, girls? I've got this for my projects. I've got that. Okay, I'm just going to leave this buried for the moment in that. It's not even stitched down yet. Okay, so that all started with me saying that this is evolving and, you know, the garden is growing. Okay, priorities on this for me. I have used the blanket. I love this blanket, but I cannot bear to look now any further with that. And I know I'm going to have a zip, and I'll get the machine out tomorrow afternoon and work out how to do that, because I'm not going to do it by hand. I bought some fabrics down for my big cutting table, which is really the dining room table that I bought the other day. I didn't show you this one. It's super bold and fluoro. I always think of Missy, but Missy made this when I look at this, and once I came home I realized it's Alice in Wonderland. And I always like to provide a whole lot of different fabrics, just in case there's always, we're all different. Now that could go down in there, but it's way too orange. So I have another one, and then I have what I think I'll actually use. But I can't find the other one. I did take this little project pouch with me. I told the story of that in my shopping. I think that was brilliant in the car beside me. I don't know where I put it. Okay, so cut to the chase. I came across this bit of sari that I must have bought in Chennai, but didn't use in my bazaar, and it's quite a big piece, and it's got this lovely little peachy hue, and it's got the peacocks. And I was thinking, and I've told you many times before, I love the idea that when we travel, many of us collect, I collect, and I'm thinking that this could be the continuing story. So it's pretty sheer, but I might pop, to start with, the idea of something like that. Now I just automatically went to there and thought, oh, that could pop out, but I do need to put a zipper in. But tonight, even before I do that, I'm just going to measure this twice, so it's very rough at this point. Not even the word measure, just I'm using my paper scissors instead of my, this should tear easily, she says. It's humid here, so that's double. And how far do we need to come over? Yeah, let's just go beside this peacock here. Feels like way too much. Maybe this is the bit I don't know what I've done there. Do you? Anyway, it's smaller, which helps. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's about the width. And I must have quadrupled it rather than doubled it. Oh, I know. I've lost that inside. But see how that's naturally gathering? I really like that. Let's do an approximate across there. I mean, way too big still, but to get the effect, we would be, as in me with you, playing with the idea that inside on both sides, let's fold it. I know, have I been? Yeah, was I distracted? You were probably saying this to me. Now the peacocks are sideways. Just as well. I'm not going to stitch this. the idea is that I would have this beautiful silky yummy inside that would cover all that blue up. But we're not there yet. Okay, what else needs to be done as well as the lining? Have I showed you the other side? I don't think I have. So this one is the second side that I've started to work on, and it's probably easier to see the patching underneath. So this is the vintage quilt top from Indian cotton, gathered up in various ways, including down the corner. This I used in the mini make and then decided to put it under this larger flower. I've begun to anchor this is bark cloth and vintage down, and this is the same piece of this vintage quilt that accidentally, when I was stitching it down, thought, there we are, I can have an outside pocket on this as well. So say this was the project, I don't know whether this one would fit in. Actually, she will. I won't put her all the way down, but you know, something smaller. I could take the earring off and roll her and she'd go in there. If needed, I can put needles and things or thread. Just always thinking of versatile. A little bit of the theme of the chenille. So again, if I put this piece here, that's the collection. What makes it a collection? This quilting, I think. Bits of lace. So this same, so you just get on a roll. This bit of lace here, where is it? Here. And this bit from the bottom is here. And that's where I cut the flower off. I didn't have any more of these flowers down there, but I will. In fact, I'm looking out, it's got wet on the line, but I had more of this drying. So resolution, I've got the big patches. These flowers, I had so much fun, but they don't work because they're not connected to any other flowers. And this is, I speak about it often, flower to flower is the way that I have in my head, that my aim is to join the flowers up. This is a little scrappy bit from last year, and I liked it because it had this pop of yellow. That relates to that, which relates to those pops of yellow. And then on this piece, this yellow, oh, I added that in, I didn't show you, and I've got pops. Okay, so the goldy yellowy tones coming through. Now, do I know what I'm going to do? Not really. But when we started, I had this with me. I had some embroidery that you might remember that I unpinned. Oh, this is the other bit. And like after my struggles with a bit of sari, would this be easier? It's modern and it's stark, but again, I do like often the eclectic juxtaposition. And see, that could just, you know what, I think that experiment was worth it because it's just helping me decide. So imagine that this was in here like that, and this like here, it could peek up. I could do some embroidery on that, and that would be much easier for the zipper. And if I failed with the zipper, it's still very pretty. Okay, so there we go. Thank you for your help by going through that silly not silly intentionally, but that experiment that paid off. Now look what has just appeared out of nowhere. This is a little Lucello piece. Look at the stripes. No, that's the pocket. I've also been experimenting. I want to see if I can, I don't know, embellish or quilt this original quilting. I tried somewhere. Where was it? And it didn't show up. Oh, in there. So I've done a couple of little rows, but I don't know. I feel if I'm going to quilt it or, you know, do stitching into it, it needs to be brighter. Oh, I'm so ready for that now. So that is at least something out of this time. I've got some stripey here. I've used it that way. Probably not on that same side, although it could go over here. This is chenille deliberately on backwards just to create another texture. There it is. HD. I wish that was my initials. I might have to use that in the Hope Tote because it's like a label in itself. So why don't we, goodness me, it'd be great to have actual sewing scissors. I've got some in here. I worked on this in the car. That's the other scrappy bit. And still there are, oh gosh. I decided not to stitch that down. Look at those beautiful purple flowers. Is there a way we can see how just adding that introduces another colour? But I don't think I need it. Let's get back to here. You know, I like the idea of a label. Maybe we could do a label there over the stems because I think that's probably what it is. Then it's easier to bridge all their flowers. So I'm trying to fill this space up, but still pay honour to there. And that's what I had. I had those flowers just going on the floor. Let's see what I find. I think you know what I mean. I had that pinned, or maybe I had it there. Now, just this garden. Certainly a pop, isn't it? I don't think so. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to waste our time because I can't proceed without some more flowers. too poppy. That's my beautiful swan. Let's see, a piece like that also. Oh, could that go in there? Okay, no, she's going to be too wide. Oh, actually, no. Oh, there's an idea. That could be my little surprise. What's that bit there? Oh, that's where I used to have the needle threader. Yeah. I hope I'm just encouraging you to be a little bit, it may be a long stretch, but it is such fun just to use the things around you. Back to the lady. Yeah, I don't know yet, but I do like the idea of the swan popping out there. So there you are. I'm going to turn the camera off and actually go and make some plans for this and work out if I'm going to do a third piece. So as I said, it's Sunday and my bags need to be packed Friday night, flying very early on Saturday morning. So I have an absolute deadline to finish, and I'd like you to hold me accountable by me saying I'll pop in again during the week. And you can choose to watch or not to watch. Just a reminder, there's that side as well. And this piece is also now fully interchangeable. So how about that? That's a real conglomeration. That's sort of true Kate. With what on earth, how did we start that? And where are we going? All right. As I said, thank you so much for being with me and keeping me company and inspiring me. Have a lovely rest of the day and take care. Until next time. Bye.